What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy John, and I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, I was taught that anger is a bad thing, that you shouldn't get angry. Um, Anger is a loss of control. Anger is you losing yourself to your enemy, and you make a fool of yourself, and you may even do something you may regret. You may hurt someone that you didn't really want to. You may even hurt yourself, or you may make a stupid decision to go and fight someone that you probably shouldn't be fighting and end up in a very precarious situation, right? And I was also taught that violence was bad. So as someone who has gone through physical violence, or been subjected to it, been at the receiving end of it, I know exactly what kind of, what pain that will create in the victim. I know what kind of hatred it will inspire, also the vengefulness, and how it will eat the other person inside because they'll think that they're to blame for it. But I know of the destructive power of violence and anger. So I've come to a recent revelation, though, when it comes to anger, or regarding anger, and that's righteous indignation is okay. Righteous indignation is something actually you should actively try to procure. What's righteous indignation? Well, in the Bible, basically, righteous indignation is when you are inflamed from the inside by the grace of God. Excuse the theological terms here, but you're inflamed from the inside with a sudden burst of anger. But the anger is righteously inspired. It's not just pure emotion from ego. Oh, he did this to me. It's a form of, how do we explain this? It's an anger that's related to the breaking of moral virtue. And in order to defend that moral virtue, the anger is divinely or righteously inspired. It's like a fire that comes straight from God. So I usually get this feeling when I think about the weak, or when I the helpless being harmed. So like animals, like sheep getting mauled by bears, don't like that. Or lions, or children or women getting harmed. These things really irk me. They really piss me off. Stuff like that. It really just it gets my blood boiling, like with this inside anger of complete injustice. That's the kind of anger I'm talking about. And it is every righteous man or upstanding man's moral and ethical responsibility to be physically able and capable to, act as a vessel for this anger. Now, it's important not to confuse righteous indignation with egoic anger. Oops. It's important not to confuse the two, because egoic anger is personal. You did this to me, and it's a feeling of hatred. Righteous indignation isn't necessarily hatred. It's anger at the action that the other person has done, because it's broken a very strong moral principle, like injustice. Righteous indignation is something that the Bible actively says that men should engage in, or rather, again, procure. Socrates even said that every man should think of himself as an athlete, and every man should develop his body and mind to the ability to be able to one day fight in a war. And there's some discourses with Socrates talking about this, where he's actually pissed off at the fact that the Athenian government back then, wasn't conscripting people into the army. It was all voluntary, and there wasn't a force that was always there that was training, and that it wasn't actually required from the citizenry to keep themselves physically fit and military able. Socrates says in the famous quote, "It's a shame for any man to grow old without seeing the beauty that his body is capable of." So even Socrates, the wisest of all wise men, of all philosophers, talks about in a roundabout way of how men should be still prepared and capable for violence. It's an interesting thing, isn't it? I don't think this is anything new. I mean, let's just boil it down to the simple point. How can you claim to be a good person when you can't defend your good virtues? If somebody else decides, I don't want to play by this motherfucker's rules, I don't want to play by your rules, fuck your virtue, man, fuck you, I'm going to take your shit, I'm going to rob your stuff, I'm going to fucking beat you up, maybe even kill you if I feel like it. I mean, fair enough, kill me, but I want to at least be in a position to be able to say no to that and to fight before I die. I'd like to at least do that. That'd make me happy. I'd die a happy man, knowing that I gave it my all to fight. Okay, I lost. Shit happens. But I gave him my all. I'd like to know that. I'd like my last thoughts to be that. I wouldn't want to die a defenseless person, that's for sure. That'd be stupid. That'd be very pathetic. It is what it is again, but that's my responsibility. I died as a defenseless person. It's my fault. So, just a few nuggets there. I think every man and woman should learn martial arts, just as a staple. I think every man and woman should be building their body, so do bodybuilding, go and hit the gym. And you don't really have to do weights. I mean, I love weights, but you don't have to. You can do any kind of athletics to just build your body and endurance and, putting your body through difficult things and pressures and coming out of it achieved, feeling good. And if you can do the military, do the military. If you can do whatever else, do whatever else. But the basics you can cover. You can do that with martial arts, and you can do that with bodybuilding or weightlifting or athletics in general, right? Because you should be prepared. You should be prepared for any encounter, situation, or event where your moral virtues or even character is challenged by someone else, and a physical escalation may be required. We know that that's going to be the last straw, though. You're never going to go in provoking someone. That's just stupid. And peace is always the first thing. Getting along. We're here. We're alive. Why don't we just be friendly and get along, man? Why be stupid? We're so clever. We're more clever than that. But there are animals out there. There's stupid fucking animals out there who don't do that. They don't play by your mind rules, yours and mine's rules, our rules, English. And these people don't give a shit. They'll come and take your shit, man. They'll fucking kill your wife. They'll rape her. They'll kill your kids. They'll fucking steal your shit, and then they'll kill you as well and rape you as well while they're at it. These people exist, man. It's horrible. I know it's horrible to think about it. It's evil in the purest, but if we're going to claim to be good people as good philosophers, then we've got to say, well, okay, evil exists, fair enough, we can't get rid of it. No law or activity is going to get rid of evil, but what we can do is prepare ourselves to face evil within ourselves and on the outside, and we must be physically capable to do so. Otherwise, we're just sheep. Common sense. Common sense. It's not stupid. We're not teaching violence. We're teaching how to protect ourselves from violence, provoked violence. But that means, of course, you've got to play by the devil's game as well. I'm sorry, but love and peace ain't going to cut it if someone has a knife to your throat and is trying to kill you. But then again, your fists aren't really going to cut it either in that situation, but you get the principle. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed the video, man and woman. It's been good, and I hope you get the idea of what I'm trying to say, man. Do jiu-jitsu as well. I'm gonna do jiu-jitsu, so I'm looking forward to it. Take it easy.